Hello, viewers. I'm Ron Grant coming to you live and direct from Tortola in the Virgin Islands. Thank you so much for your time. You're watching 284 Media. Much has taken place on the island of Monserrat within the past few weeks pertaining civil servants, many of whom have striked and protested. I'm today joined by Ms. Nyota Mulcare, who is currently the Director of Postal Services with responsibility for the General Post Office and, of course, the brewer. She also, so far, has already given 25 years of valuable service to the government of Montserrat, serving in various capacities. She is also the trade unionist and has served on the executive of the Montserrat Civil Service Association for the past 18 years. She is now currently serving as the president of the Civil Service Association, which she has done for the past 5 years. Now, Mrs. Mulcare is particularly interested in the positive development of young people as they are today and the advancement of the overall Montserrat community. We are happy to have her join us and put into perspective what is actually taking place on the ground in Montserrat pertaining the civil servants. We'll be right back after a quick commercial break.
Yo, everything good there?
Why? This thing got me one way, daddy.
What do you mean?
Ever since I hook up with this thing, can't eat, I can't sleep. This is the first thing I touch it when I reach home.
What you really? Hey, this ain't like you know.
Dad, this thing got me staying home, keeping out of trouble me.
Wow. What your name is?
Shit, I talking about my CCT life.
Don't worry about missing your favorite series, sports, news, and local programming. Come to CCT today and sign up for CCT Live to access over 80 channels. CCT Live. Bring it home.
1 month free trial turn into 5. 5 months turn into, well, you know I hustle. I watching ball. I even watching football. Dad, Nickelodeon, Paw Patrol. I am hooked. Hook, I tell you.
Viewers, welcome back and thank you so much for sticking with us. As promised, I am joined by Mrs. Nyota Mulcare out of Montserrat, who is the president of the Civil Service Association. Mrs. Mulcare, I want to thank you so much for your time and welcome to our 284 Media platform.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure and thank you for inviting me.
Likewise. Now, as I mentioned, much has been taking place on the island of Montserrat. You have served on the Public Service or Civil Service Association rather for some 18 years. The past 5 years you continue to serve as the president. I want you to put into perspective for the region, what is presently the situation on the ground regarding the civil servants?
Okay, so firstly, let me say that the economic conditions on Montserrat has it's drastically declined for a very long time. We basically import 95% of what we use. So the accumulative rate of inflation as at 2021 is 21.6%, and for
Okay.
2022 alone, 5%. In addition, custom duties are high as freight is added in its calculation, and our excess options are very much limited. So in terms of our ferry, the airline, we are very much limited, as well as the Social Security rates were increased to 5% in April 2022 and will continue to rise every year until 2026. Right now, we hear
Okay.
the advert for January 2023, it will go up to 5.5%. So the members are very much disgruntled as their spending power is one that is constantly on the decline. So everything else is going up except pay, and pay should keep the pace with inflation. So the membership is very much disgruntled.
Okay, now in regards to the economic situations, what have the conversations been like with yourself or other members of the civil service with the government powers?
Okay, so last week, what we did was we met with the FCDO team, the Foreign and Commonwealth Development Office, to make a presentation on our own behalf because government of Montserrat did not do that for us. They had a conversation in 2021, but they reported back to us in April 2022 that the FCDO did not approve a salary increase for us, but rather to have the anomalies fixed. So that is what we did. And we explained in terms of high prices in the supermarket. So I was able to pull basic prices and have them compared with the UK, converted them to EC, and show them what the price is on the ground. And they were very much alarmed to realize that the prices of basic items were so expensive. Even for travel, we once had a ferry, and we no longer have that. That was stopped in 2020 when the COVID situation began. So even to travel out of Montserrat, you're talking about almost $1,000 for a
Wow.
two-way fare, whereas the ferry was $300. And the situation for Montserrat is a lot of the health benefits, we cannot access them locally. We have to travel over to Antigua. So for someone who is not just making just basically over $2,000, although we offer an insurance for our membership, you still have to pay that cost up front, and then we do the reimbursement through our Nagico. But it's just too expensive.
I
Really,
understand.
really
Now,
expensive.
the civil service is one thing, but as a resident of Montserrat, what would you say is the common consensus of residents regarding the present state within the economy, cost of living, and being able to access various not only health matters, but just being able to travel and traverse? What is their common consensus?
Well, the common consensus, but the public service really makes up the majority. But the
Okay.
common consensus is that persons are made case on case over and over that we need to have the ferry back. We must have the ferry back in order for persons to have affordable travel, be able to bring things. So, for instance, can't go into a store and buy the average item. So, if I want to send my children to school tomorrow and the shoe got spot today, you can't go into a store readily in Montserrat and buy a shoe.
And why
A
is
lot
that?
of stuff is imported. I guess because we're small and in terms of importation of stuff is just too high. Like I said before, freight is used to calculate customs duty. So that's very, very, very expensive. It makes the cost expensive. So you have one or two store may have the basic item, but not everyone will have.
I understand. Now, tell me a little bit about the public service. How many persons make up the civil service in Montserrat?
So currently, we'll say approximately 920. Our membership owns 75% of that
Okay. So
number.
of
However, we also have members who work within statutory bodies,
okay.
such as the Montserrat Social Security, the Finance Services Commission, the Land Development Authority, Montserrat Community College, and the Montserrat National Trust also makes up our membership. And
Understood.
also retired persons as well makes up the membership.
Of course. Now, since within the past few weeks, what exactly have civil servants done to express their frustration? I know there was a strike as well as a protest. Tell us about the chain of events. And is that still
Okay.
continuing? Is that still ongoing?
Okay, so there was a Go Slow sick outs and the demonstration which was carried out on Thursday, 8th December, where public servants were dressed in full black with the support of the private sector as well. And
Okay.
the private sector joined in solidarity because we know what will be the ripple effect. Once public servants who make up the majority have greater spending power, they'll be able to go to supermarkets and buy, they'll be able to just access the services that are available locally. And also, public servants pay sets the tone for the majority. So once public service gets an increase, also the statutory bodies will get an increase. The private sector will be able to increase the salaries of their workers because we are able to spend more. We're able to access their services. So that's what happened. So we had good turnout on Thursday. We had lots of private sectors standing in solidarity, wearing their black. Some persons even joined the protest, which was good. So while the protest was going on outside of the governor's office, myself as president and the vice president, Sister Michelle Castle, we met with the Foreign and Commonwealth Development team to discuss why this increase is important, and just to lay out some of the, what's going on, as well as our members are very much disgruntled because we have technical cooperation officers who make, want of a better word, 10 times what we make. And
Wow.
within their pay package, they have a cost of living allowance. So we are saying if these persons have a cost of living allowance, we too should get a cost of living allowance. And we see this as being discriminatory because you should not discriminate. If we have persons who are coming out of the UK and coming as technical support officers and they're getting a cost of living allowance, is mean that they recognize that it is important for our salaries to go up because the local economy is hard and its persons are struggling. So if they see it fit to give their persons that allowance, it means that we too need to have a cost of living allowance or our salaries go up to match inflation to meet the local economy.
Understood. Now,
Right?
with these negotiations and conversations, Mrs. Mulcare, has there been any timeline set whereas the civil servants and your association can expect some sort of response in regards to this matter?
Okay, so the FCD team did indicate that they will have to go back and also make a claim, and then they'll be able to say if they can give additional funding for 2023. However, after we would have protested, the premier was actually in cabinet. So he emerged from the building while we were outside, and he also indicated that he would be willing to sit with us later on this week and have a meeting to discuss further as to how we will go about having these increases. Additionally, earlier this week, we did have a communication coming from the governor indicating that herself and the financial secretary, the deputy governor, will also sit and review pay packages for workers. I should also add, though, that workers were very much disgruntled because the governor also came prematurely and indicated that 10% was not, so to speak, feasible. So that also created a disgruntled against the membership. So she understands that and
Okay.
is willing to address. So once we meet with the
And
premier later on in the
right.
week, we're able to give some more feedback.
All right. So just for clarification, the meeting with the premier is yet to be
Yet to
had,
happen.
but nevertheless, persons on the ground continue to do their part, like yourself, in raising awareness. I want to put into perspective this matter. I thought it was important for the entire region to understand the plight, essentially, of the civil servants on Montserrat and the continuous fight in regards to making sure that they are treated fairly as it pertains to compensations. Where does this leave civil servants? The president of the Civil Service Association, do you see some sort of a disconnect in regards to how civil servants operate their duties? What is the feeling? How do they react to coming to a job every day where they don't feel necessarily appreciated or being compensated? What is the ripple effect from this situation?
Okay, so to be honest, what I try to do is to continue to encourage persons to work at their best. Don't give the opportunity for them to say that you're not doing your job. So in spite of the fact that we're not being paid properly, I still encourage that. It's very important. But I would also say that how long would you be able to hold that tight, hold that down? Because if you're not happy in your homes in terms of being able to feed your children, give them something nutritious for them to go out, you're not able to access services, you're not able to live comfortably, there would be a time when you just won't be able to hold on. But for now, it's a little bit shaky because, like I said, they're disgruntled, and we're doing our best to make sure that we're able to give them or negotiate better pay packages for the membership. But that's how it is
Yes.
for right now.
Well, Mrs. Mulcare, I want to thank you so much for your willingness to have the conversation and, of course, put this matter into perspective for the entire region. We will be doing a follow-up with you to keep the public informed as it pertains to the situation regarding public servants, civil servants on the island of Montserrat. Thank you so much for the conversation, and do have a beautiful, as best as you can, holiday season.
Thank you, and the same to you.
Viewers, that is all the time we have. I'll see you later. I'm Ron Grant reporting for 284 Media. Bye-bye.